Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a Atlantic League game here with Tim Furrow and Harry Wu. Tim is U.S. for this one. And he's got a thoroughly mediocre hand, lots of 3-ops, a couple of Europe attack cards. Defectors makes this one pretty good. Oh, looks like Tim might be going for the Defectors Fake Out, which is a popular play among some crowds. Nope, looks like now he's just going to go with the usual 4-4-2. I think I like this a little better because you probably want to get De Gaulle out of the deck. Hold Sock Gloves for blockade. Trigger De Gaulle. Thank you, Careless Gamer. But I'm actually not playing. Just calling this game between Tim and Harry. This game happened last night. We'll see how it goes. So Tim goes with the 4-3-3 headlines defectors and hits Suez. So a good hit there. So we'll see if Harry wants to try the coup even with Iran beefed up to 3. He does. And he will miss. Oh, and he misses with a 2. So interestingly enough, the extra influence makes the difference there. So good on Tim for setting up 4-3-3. Tim obviously wants to fix up Iran. Now the question is, does he want to go to Pakistan? Does he want to get into Malaysia? Yes, it is my birthday. Today, 9/11, is in fact my birthday. Very exciting stuff. Okay, now so Tim splits the difference, goes Pakistan and Malaysia. Might wonder if we see a coup in Pakistan here. Always tempting with it at 1, but then you lose Thailand if you're the USSR. Oh, and Harry's going to go for a coup of Malaysia with Duck, and he hits the roll. So big roll there for Harry. He'll concede the 2 VPs, but he'll get Thailand. I'm sure he's very happy about that. Now, Tim, for his roll, he can coup to get his mill ops. He does coup to get his mill ops rather than taking Pakistan and stopping domination, decides to just get his mill ops there with a coup. Okay, so that's going to lead likely to Harry getting Lebanon and Thailand. Indonesia, an important country to watch as well. Oh, he's just going to score Asia. Interesting. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Careless Gamer. I appreciate that. And yeah, Harry decides to go ahead and score Asia, so he gets the 5 points off Tim. Could have stopped Dom with Pak in India, but then Harry would have just taken Thailand, and so he might not have scored Dom, but Tim takes the gamble. Then tries to go to space, misses on the roll. Tim misses out on Lebanon as well. So I think if you're Tim, you probably want to go ahead and get France here. You want to get into Egypt. So I think 2 Egypt and 1 France here is fine. Getting into India is fine, even though Asia's scored. You could just trigger De Gaulle here. And matter of fact, that might be what I would do is just trigger De Gaulle. Um, it does concede Algeria, but it gets a bad card out of the deck. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, and here's a big 4-op from Harry. He's going to want to take Thailand for sure. And Iraq as well. Still neither player taking Indonesia, which is interesting. It could be an important country later. Tim making sure he picks up Libya. And there we go with Indonesia. Tim looks like he's going to hold De Gaulle, although if I were Harry, I would poke West Germany here. Okay, and there's blockade played for op, so Tim won't have to discard De Gaulle. Okay, and Harry just going to go ahead and take Lao. So Tim, for his part, Truman's gone, so I don't know that Tim wants to trigger De Gaulle here. Yeah, I think you want to hold it and give Vietnam instead. You could go Jordan, take Middle East Dom. Yeah, I don't hate that. Okay, here we go. Turn 2. Korean War in Tim's hand, which is nice. I'm sure he's happy to see decall as well, so he'll be able to hold that to turn 3 if he so desires. So what's the headline for Tim? Marshall is reasonable. We have seen sock govs. So Marshall's, I don't, yeah, I think Marshall's pretty reasonable. I think I like that one. Tim thinking hard about his headline choice here. Okay, if it does go with Marshall, and we'll see Harry counter with a Nasser headline. Tim's still with domination in Middle East for the moment. All right, chat. I like that. I like that. Yes, Tim has got the concept for a plan to go Marshall. Oh, yes, Alex with the great American humor. And he'll take his coup. Oh, a big flip of Iran. So that is unfortunate for Tim. Now Tim's going to get dominated in the Middle East almost certainly. Okay, so Harry already has Middle East domination. We know he does not have decall. We will see if he has D-stall. I suspect we'll see it right here if he's got it. Zaire, Venezuela, Chile, and perhaps Nigeria makes sense. We'll see what he goes with. Yep, and there it is. Zaire, Venezuela, Chile for sure, and what else? Nigeria. Yep, exactly as I suspected. Yeah, I think this is definitely a hand where I would trigger Korean War. That does make sense to me. Okay, Tim Space's decall, an interesting decision. Could have held that. Could have held that with blockade in the discard, but decided to space it anyway. Interesting decision. Could have spaced something else, but Purge is still around, so don't want to get stuck with that turn 3 while holding decall. It makes sense. Okay, yep, and there's Middle East. Tim's certainly not happy to see that. Okay. And Tim now, okay, yeah, there's captured Nazi for a VP for Harry. And okay, so Tim, I see now Tim could have held decall, decides instead he's going to go ahead and hold Korean War. Which makes sense. So he just goes ahead, takes South Korea, which stops domination. And there's containment, which we'll see used on de Gaulle, and Korean War will be held. So de Gaulle is probably, I think you've got to go 3 in France here. And then you could go a 4th in France. You could go into India. We'll see what he opts to do. Yep, nope, goes Algeria, which also makes sense. Okay, Europe scoring into Tim's hand on a redraw of Middle East. Certainly Tim not happy to see that one. And another hand here where headline is a little awkward. I guess it's 5-year plan, particularly because Tim is about to get purged. So Tim at this point just looking at his hand. And yeah, so a Middle East headline makes sense. You drop 4 VP, but you're losing that anyway, and it's only getting worse. Europe, you're hoping to score Dom. Could also just headline Europe with the thought that you're getting purged here anyway. Might as well just get rid of it. Very tough hand for Tim here. He's going to go with special because he doesn't want France to get jammed. But if that's the play, you could just consider Europe here. But the fact that Harry's thinking so long before headlining Purge maybe makes me think he's headlining something else. Yep, there it is, no question. Now we'll see if blockade was played for ops. So if Harry has it, I suspect we will see it AR1. And if we don't see it AR1, I suspect Tim will score Europe quickly. Okay, Harry is just at this point could take the coup. Yeah, just a 2-up coup, presumably of Angola. Yep. Oh no, going to go Panama, try and roll big, and he misses. So that would have been enough to flip Angola, but he goes for Panama and he misses on the roll. So a break for Tim, and Tim will happily take his 5 VPs. Oh, and a decall redraw. That certainly is annoying for Tim. Perhaps Harry was considering headlining that, but I don't think it's necessary. Not sure it's necessary, though, to drop that in the headline. I don't think it would have done that much good in the headline that it wasn't going to do in an AR. And a UN of US Japan. Man. Harry with ops, Harry with access, and now he's going to go ahead and take control or near control of Africa. Tim in some pretty serious trouble here. So Asia doesn't look bad, but Southeast Asia is a disaster. South America is a disaster. Africa is a disaster. Middle East looks bad. Tim just scored it. He's down 5 EP, which is about to be 7. He's got a couple of wars in his hand that he's going to have to trigger AI war. Obviously, will hold on to Korean War yet again. Tim in some considerable trouble. Yep, going to give AI war. Ugh, just painful. Now going to be down 9 VPs heading into turn 4. And so, yeah, a South America scoring plus, an OPEC would be GG. Harry continues to solidify his position, takes Africa control. Oh, and Tim's just going to get... Oh. Tim, I don't know what that was for. Just gives Korean War with the hope that it fails instead of playing 5-year plan for ops. And instead, he lets South Korea flip. I don't, not sure I quite understand what was happening there. I guess Tim was looking for a potential DEF CON situation. So Tim does get grain here, turn 4. So we do have grain. Okay, South African does very little. Ugh, not a card you want to pull, especially with this hand. But Tim's going to take it anyway. Okay, flips over Zaire. I think Bert is probably fine here. Tim continues to be in trouble. He's no longer controlled in Africa, but he will be comfortably dominated. Okay, and there goes China, which is interesting. So perhaps Tim thinking about, I don't know what the CIA situation is here. Okay, 5-year plan pulls salt. That's an interesting pull. So Tim needs to brush. Presumably that's going to hit South America. Tim with OAS in his hand. Perhaps that could go into Argentina, if in fact that is not filled. Yeah, chat noting correctly that Harry played China very quickly. So perhaps he has some kind of an issue in his hand. But now he's going to have to play all the cards in his hand. Okay, just trying to coup there to get his mill ops. Okay, Tim with Angola. Okay, and could try a brush to even out Africa. No, going to try it in Venezuela and miss. Classic JR3. Absolutely classic JR3. So Tim now still dominated in Africa. He's dominated in Asia. Dominated in the Middle East. Sadat will help him even things up, but Middle East is scored. Argentina is filled. Okay, there goes Fidel. We'll see what the one small step situation is. Oh, and there's Cultural taking China back. Tim going to use A for P. Pass on the 2VP. Going to fill up Central after spacing Fidel. Going to try and get 8 VPs off in Central. Oh, Harry going to play China again. So I wonder if Harry did have CIA. Wrong country, Tim. There you go. So Tim's 5-year plan Tim's play to just concede Asia domination did not work out well for him. But Harry playing like a man who has CIA in his hand. Okay, and here's Kennedy, which is going to take Saudi, reestablish Dom in the Middle East. Okay. And OAS to break South America control. And Southeast Asia was not the scoring that Tim wanted to see in his hand. Woof. So no discarders left for Tim. Even though Harry's stuck with CIA. Multiple cards in Tim's hand that will allow Tim to degrade DEFCON. But he's got to deal with Southeast Asia scoring, which is extremely ugly. Ooh, Quagmire's not fun. So Junta will obviously coup here in South America. And he'll miss. So Harry now with the opportunity to take back both countries even if he doesn't have a 4-up. So this here is GG if Harry has South America. Ooh, Brezhnev as an event on AR1. Oh, and of course Tim misses the roll. Yep, so Tim does get Brush and Junta, and he fails the rolls on both of them. Now Harry will take back Brazil and Argentina with a 4-up, 3 boosted to a 4, and now with Brezhnev, he can space CIA and be rid of it. None of these cards are cards that Tim wants to get rid of. These are all good events. Decides to dump Nixon, and he is out. Okay. Is the game over here? It is not. Harry would have scored South America right here if he had it, no doubt. There we go. CIA to space. So Harry did have it. Yeah, Harry just overprotecting things now. It's a matter of waiting for his scorings to come. Kennedy is gone. And Timmy going to take a coup in Africa. Harry trying to realign here. Could have invented Portuguese to annoy Tim a little bit, but tries to realign and misses. Well, I spoke too soon. Forgot about Brezhnev. So Tim coups with how I learned, which is interesting. I would have thought this is potentially a situation where you jack DEFCON up to 5 and then do the AR7 how I learned play, because there was no, unless I'm mistaken, there was no other spots for Harry to coup. Yeah, I don't like the decision to give Harry Millops there. And there's 7 for Southeast Asia, which I suppose Tim could have made into 6 instead by taking Philippines, but had other things to do. Okay, well, a good decision then by Tim, because Harry would have gotten off arms race and won the game before Tim was able to get his 5 EPs with how I learned. So great play from Tim that I just criticized. Okay, here's Missile Envy. And at this point, I guess this play makes sense, although a central headline would, I think, make more sense here. Hold on just one moment. Sorry, folks. Apologize for that. But as you can see, the "We Will Bear You" headline ended the game. Tim could have potentially kept it going with 8 VPs from Central, but I think it would have. Obviously South America would have been enough there. So this wasn't going Tim's way regardless, and a tough one for him to be sure. I think it was just a matter of when. Just a matter of when South America was coming. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. This was a little bit of a tough one for Tim. Tim's got another one tonight, trying to stay alive in Atlantic League. He needs to win and then have somebody else lose in their final game in order to make the playoffs. So we will see. But thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.